even on Earth. One dream that I have, she was absolutely incredible. Maybe it's because of the moons, I don't know.
Swipe left, swipe right. Swipe left, swipe right.
Hi guys, what's up? It's Julia and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a Q&A. I haven't done one of these in a really long time and I thought it would be fun to fill you guys in on my life and answer some of your questions. So let's get into it. When were you the most starstruck? Okay, so I think I've told this story on my YouTube channel before. The time that I vividly remember feeling what being starstruck and having a total fangirl moment really feels like is when I went to the Hollywood Bowl to see Into the Woods with my mom. I think this was back in like 2018. We're walking in and lo and behold, Yael Grobgloss from Jane the Virgin is standing right in front of me. I am the biggest Jane the Virgin fan. That show is my favorite show of all time. I see Petra in the flesh. I just start crying. Like the tears just start falling. My brain wasn't even on Earth. I go up to her and I just start saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. I could not believe that I was talking to Petra and she was so wonderful. We took a photo and I literally was shaking. I was just so starstruck. And then we ended up sitting kind of close to her. And so the whole show I was just watching her and my mom was like, we literally paid for tickets to see Into the Woods. But I could not believe that Petra was sitting so close to me. While we're on this topic, I do actually have a fun little story to share. A few days ago, super last minute, I got to go to the James Corden Late Late Show and I got to sit in the audience. I did get to see AGT back in the day. I've never been to a taping of a late night show or anything like that. When I tell you it was so last minute, I got the email and then I had to leave within the hour. I got to see James Corden on set of The Prom, but seeing him in his element filming his show was absolutely incredible. During the break, he took some questions from the audience and I asked if his 15-year-old self could see him now, what would he say? And it was so cool because I saw him really reflect on that and take a moment and it was so sweet. And he was really thinking about it and he said that if his 15-year-old self could see him now, he would say, you've made it, and he'd be so proud of him for following his dreams and everything. And it was just such a cool moment. The guests that were there were Keegan-Michael Key, who I am a huge fan of, and Emily Deschanel, and the Black Eyed Peas performed. So super cool. I'll insert some photos right here. I wish I could have vlogged. They were super strict about, you know, taking phones in or taking photos and everything, but overall it was a really great experience. Who are your biggest inspirations when it comes to YouTube, and what channels do you watch the most? My biggest inspirations for YouTube are definitely Nicole Lano and Colleen Ballinger. They both inspire me so much and kind of for separate reasons. So for Nicole, I started watching her, oh my gosh, it kind of sounds creepy. I was a fan of her even before she started her YouTube channel. When she started dancing at ALDCLA, I just knew she was something special and I always just admired her and she just seemed so kind. And I have watched every single video on her YouTube channel. I think she's such an incredible case study of someone who is just passionate and follows that passion, and what she has built and the life that she's created for herself, the job she's created for herself, and the impact that she's made on millions of people is just astounding to me. Nicole's work ethic has inspired me for years, and she's honestly the reason why I started posting twice a week. I got to take her class recently and I actually told her that, and that was a really sweet moment. And then Colleen Ballinger, oh my gosh, she has inspired me forever. I was a Merfanda back in the day. I've been to 3 of her concerts. Actually, fun fact, one of the centerpieces at my bat mitzvah was a photo of me doing the Miranda face. I admire Colleen for so many reasons. She is such an empathetic person and I really appreciate how openly she shares in her vlogs, and seeing all of her kids and just the life that she has built for herself is so inspiring to me, and I really find so much comfort in her videos. I think she's an incredible businesswoman and just total boss. What was the inspiration to start Behind the Resume? So I'm sure most of you guys who watch my videos know, but I do have an interview series on my channel called Behind the Resume, and it's a Zoom interview series where I chat with accomplished performers on their journeys and literally who they are behind their resume. And so I started this a few months into COVID. Well, actually, that's when I had the idea. I don't think the first video came out until 2021, but I had the idea mid-2020. And honestly, it came from me just wanting to know about who these performers are and who these artists are outside of their success and outside of their credits. I feel like when we watch a lot of interviews with actors, most of the time they're talking about their role or their project, which is amazing, but I'm just sitting here and I'm like, how did you get there? Like who are you outside of this project, and what does your day-to-day look like? What does your morning routine look like? What are your struggles? What advice would you have for other performers? And so that's when I started thinking that I would love to spark that conversation and create that platform. And I've been so fortunate to work with so many incredible people and have incredible connections. So I just started to think, you know, what if I started this interview series where I reach out to some friends that I've worked with and people that I know mutually and just start having these conversations. I'm so happy with how far it's come. I actually just filmed an interview this morning. I was sitting there and I was like, if I knew then the people that I'd have on this show, like, I'm so honored to have the guests on that I have. Every single person I have on, I am a fan of, and I'm just really excited for the future of it and the conversations yet to be shared. What is a dream that you have that most people might not know about? Ooh, I love this question. Okay, well, these two things I've been thinking about a lot lately. This is truly a dream that oh my gosh, I want to accomplish so badly. I want to do the Disney one. I want to do the whole, hi, my name is Julia Marley and you're watching Disney Channel. I have so many friends who have done it and I am just absolutely in awe. It is so iconic. It's just the coolest thing ever, and I don't know how it'll happen one day, but I'm just manifesting that so much. When I think of like the ultimate dreams, this is probably one of the biggest, or the biggest one right now. I want to be someone's Make-A-Wish. I am in awe of that company and what they do, and I watch all of their videos and I'm so inspired by that connection with the kids and just what that can do for them, and to think that, you know, you've made an impact so great where someone in that terrible position would want to spend time with you, I just think is the ultimate. And there's a video I'll link down below of Katy Perry being a girl's Make-A-Wish, and it is just so heartwarming. The girl is so sweet and adorable, and I just think that's what it's all about, is making like that level of an impact through your art and your voice and whatever it is that you do. That is definitely like the biggest dream. What is your favorite memory from this summer? This summer, I got to go to New York with my dad. I got to sit at the St. James Theater on Broadway and witness my friend Julia make her Broadway, well, it wasn't her Broadway debut, but the show was her debut. She was Little Red in Into the Woods, and she was brilliant. I just cried to her after. I can't even explain how incredible she was. And the cast, that show, like, even if I didn't know her, I would say she was unbelievable. But the show itself, Sarah Bareilles, I had never seen live before that. Oh my God, she was absolutely incredible. Philippa Sue, I am convinced that was a recording. Like, there's no way that was live, because she was absolutely perfect and just beyond brilliant. Gavin Creel, I am obsessed with. His performance was incredible. Joshua Henry, oh my gosh, actually, Joshua Henry, if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, little side note, I definitely recommend following him, because he makes a lot of really inspirational little videos just throughout his day of, you know, the life of an artist. They're really genuinely inspiring, so I would definitely check out his Instagram. There are not enough words in the English language for me to express how unbelievable that show was. Getting to see Julia was just the icing on the cake, and that night was so special. Another huge highlight of that trip was getting to see my singing teacher, Desi Oakley. She is writing a musical, and she did a concert at Green Room 42, and that's actually the reason why I went to New York. Getting to be in that room and getting to witness her music and see so many friends, it was just, that trip was so incredible, and I got to see my family, because all my family lives in New York. I also got to see Beetlejuice and Funny Girl on Broadway. Beetlejuice is one of my favorite Broadway shows, and they just announced yesterday that it's closing in January, which makes me so sad because that show is brilliant. Alex Brightman is a gift to Broadway. Elizabeth Teeter was phenomenal, and I really hope I get to see it again before it closes. I don't know if I'll get to, but I'm very sad about that because that show is just perfection. Another highlight of this summer was performing in Shrek with Always on Stage. I did 3 vlogs from that, so those will be linked down below if you haven't seen them. But oh my gosh, this show was so much fun. I got to choreograph for the second time and mentor and, you know, do everything that I usually do, but I don't know, this show was just really special, and especially during the shows, Tech Week and the weekends of the shows, we just had so much fun. What was the moment you first fell in love with musical theater, and when did you decide to pursue acting and performing as a career? Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. When did I fall in love with performing? I think I've always just loved performing. I mean, I came out of the womb like singing and dancing and acting, and I'd perform for my neighbors when they didn't ask, you know? Like, I just was that kid who loved performing. I just was always in shows. My parents put me in community theater when I was super little, and I just never stopped. So I don't know if there was a moment where I was like, oh, I love performing now. I just think it's always been in my veins, but there actually was a very significant moment of when it clicked in me that I was gonna do this for the rest of my life. And that is when I was 14. I was cast in my first professional show, which was Children of Eden. The theater company at the time was called Cabrillo Music Theater, and I grew up doing performances in the kids group, but I had never been in a main stage show. All I wanted in life was to be in one of those shows, and I was so blessed to have been in 4 before I turned 18, which is crazy. Getting cast in Children of Eden was a dream come true in every sense of the phrase. I remember standing in the wings before, I don't know, a show we were doing, and just having that moment of, this is bliss. Like, this is joy, this is bliss, this is happiness, and this is what I'm dedicating my life to. And it was just a really beautiful, pivotal moment of, this is everything I want in life. What are some of your recent interests? I have been super interested lately in human design and astrology. In human design, there are 5 different energy types. There's manifestors, generators, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. I'm a manifesting generator, and I've been watching a bunch of YouTube videos lately on what that means. I'm super new to it, but I just think it's really cool. I am an Aquarius, and I've been trying to learn more about that. I don't know if I really align with everything they say about being an Aquarius, but when it comes to human design, which is kind of just another form of that, I'm a manifesting generator, and everything I've read about that, I really deeply align with. So I don't know, I'm still learning about all of that. There's an app called Chani, and I don't have the app, but the woman who runs it has a podcast, and basically every week she puts out a new episode talking about the astrology of the week and the moons and what planets in retrograde, and I truthfully don't understand really what any of it means, but it's just very interesting to listen to, and I pretend like I understand. She talks about, you know, this moon, this is happening, and this is why you might feel this or that, and it's interesting to me. Sometimes I listen to it like on a Wednesday and I go, oh my god, on Monday I was totally feeling that, and maybe it's because of the moons. Do you have a favorite podcast? Yes, Jay Shetty's On Purpose podcast is my favorite podcast. I listen to just about every episode when he has a guest on, and actually talking about ultimate dreams, that is a huge, 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 huge dream one day, is to be a guest on his podcast. I always am just like, oh, one day. I just love the way that he thinks. I think he's just so empathetic and smart, and his conversations with his guests are always really great. I take a lot of inspiration from that for Behind the Resume and the way that I interview. What are your goals / future plans for your YouTube channel? I love YouTube. I feel like as time goes on, I feel more disconnected from Instagram and really every other social media, and more connected to YouTube. I think it is such an incredible creative outlet to make your life and your story essentially into your own TV channel. Editing is one of my favorite hobbies. Like, I literally enjoy editing as much as I enjoy dance and everything else that I do. Also, editing has really helped me romanticize my life. I do these little, you guys know, like montages at the beginning of each video, and it's so much fun to pull out clips from my vlog and put it to music. There are a billion reasons why I love having a YouTube channel so much, and I'm just genuinely, like, I think about YouTube and my channel and the videos I want to make and all of my dreams and goals for it 24/7. I plan on, you know, continuing to share my journey, and wherever my journey takes me, it's gonna be so cool to have these videos to look back on in, you know, 5-10 years. Sometimes I go back and watch my early videos, and it's so cool. It's like this visual diary. Have you been watching any good shows lately? I just started watching Abbott Elementary pretty recently. I have quickly become a very big fan of Quinta Brunson. Cheryl Lee Ralph won the Emmy. Her speech, if you guys haven't heard it, oh my gosh, her speech was so inspiring. That made me quickly start Abbott Elementary, and I'm really enjoying it. And what's so cool is that Kayla, who was on Behind the Resume, is in season 2. So I'm almost at her episode. I'm so excited to see her. And I also just started the new show Reboot on Hulu. Keegan-Michael Key was talking about it when he was on James Corden, but I'm only like 10 minutes into the first episode. But I think it's a really cute concept. Do you think you'd ever put out merch? Oh my gosh, yes, 1,000 billion% yes. This is a dream that I've had for so long. Something that I really want to do and I've talked about and I certainly plan on doing in the future is creating journals. And I want this to tie into, you know, the Julia's Journal concept, but I want to design my own manifesting gratitude journals and like ask questions or maybe put in quotes or like things that I've been discovering. I really want to just design my own journal and have that as merch. I think that would be so cool and genuinely something that I would use. I also, of course, want to release sweatshirts and different things like that. Do you ever get discouraged? If so, how do you work through that and keep going? I don't think I get discouraged. I think I get frustrated with myself. I get frustrated with the natural timeline of things. I wouldn't say I get discouraged. I feel constantly inspired and I constantly have this fire in me, but I certainly get frustrated and anxious and things like that. So I guess when it comes to working through that, I don't know. I don't know if I figured it out. I think I'm still trying to figure out how I work through that. I've been learning that self-care, physically, spiritually, mentally, all of it, must come first, must be non-negotiable, because there's just been a lot going on lately. A lot of excitement, a lot of projects that I'm working on and, you know, things that I'm working towards. Oh my gosh, self-care is a must. The rest of it can't happen or can't happen nearly as well if we're not taking care of ourselves. And when it comes to self-care for me, a big part of that is journaling or maybe just going on a walk outside or taking my mind off of my work or things like that. That wasn't even the question. The question was, how do I deal with being discouraged? Yeah, I guess my big answer right now is self-care. And if I have an answer for how I work through the times where I'm frustrated or anxious, I'll let you guys know. But right now, I don't really know. All right, last question. Are there any words you've been living by lately? You guys know, of course there are. We must show up as who we wish to see in this world. And in order to be extraordinary, you must go to extraordinary measures. Oh my gosh, when I tell you, I've been telling that to myself every 20 minutes. We can get into that in the next Julia's Journal episode, so I'll leave you on a little cliffhanger. This is going to be the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!